Evening, people. What's up? And welcome to our question of the day. So, today's question is, what are some good ways to increase my energy levels without relying on caffeine? Now, this is obviously very relevant to today's world because most people are coffee drinkers and most people, unfortunately, are excessive coffee drinkers. Now, coffee is both good and bad for the right person. As in, it's good for some and not so good for others. You probably know whether it's good for you or not based on how you feel when you drink it. But a lot of us tend to still ignore how our body feels when we drink it because we're kind of addicted to the caffeine high and so on. But when it comes to increasing energy levels or managing our energy levels without the use of caffeine or minimizing caffeine, the first thing that I recommend you guys do, so I'm going to give you 3 different tips today. So the first thing is consume real food. So we want to eat real food where possible because our body ultimately is looking for nutrition, not just calories. Of course, if we're eating a lot of junk food, refined foods and things which tend to be very high in calories but low in nutrients, this will often disrupt our blood sugar and also inhibit our body's ability to efficiently convert that food to energy. Much of it gets stored as fat. And we often get the energy crashes when blood sugar drops and so on because of the spike that we had from this refined food. So that's tip number 1. We must, where possible, consume real food. Now, of course, when I'm talking about real food, I'm talking about where possible, you want meat, fish, veg, fruit, herbs, spices, whole grains if you can tolerate them. Dairy is okay for some people, again, if you can tolerate it. But basically, we want minimally processed and as close to its original form as it was obviously given to us by nature. So that's the first thing, real food. Now, the next thing that you would want to do is move more. Now, that can kind of sound counterintuitive because for a lot of people, it's like, well, I don't have much energy. Now you want me to spend more energy by moving. But the truth is it takes the use of energy in order for the body to have a need or the stimulus to create more energy. Now, that doesn't mean go and kill yourself in the gym, but it does mean that often we have to move more. If you lead a sedentary lifestyle and you feel quite lethargic, slow, sluggish, etc., then one of the things that you'll want to do is just start moving more. Now, it doesn't have to be a traditional gym program. It might just be walking to begin with. It could be dancing, playing with your kids. Could be anything simple. It might be that you start parking the car at the far end of the car park when you go to the supermarket. You start taking the stairs rather than the elevator. Perhaps you're going to cycle or walk to work instead of drive. It can be simple things. It doesn't necessarily have to be a traditional gym training program. But the truth is we have to use energy in order for the body to have the need or requirement or demand to produce more energy. So that's the second thing. So first we've got obviously eating real food, then we want to move more. Now, the third tip that I would give you guys is try to have a consistent sleep pattern and obviously a consistent wake pattern as well. So basically the time that you go to bed and wake up in the morning is the same. Now, that's regardless of whether you're getting the ideal amount of sleep and whether it's within the ideal hours and so on. Just try to make it consistent. The body loves repeated routines and rhythms, and the more consistent it can be, whether optimal or not, the easier your body is going to find it to effectively produce energy for you and to carry out its metabolic functions on a day-to-day basis. So where possible, for example, if you go to bed every night at midnight, but you get up at 6 a.m., that's fine. It's not the best, of course, but that's what you do. That's consistent. If you go to bed at 9 p.m. and then you're up at 8 in the morning, then that's fine also. But just make it consistent. Same time to bed, same time to wake. And this helps to regulate our overall hormonal cascade and hormonal flow, which can help with energy production as we go throughout the day. Now, one final tip that I will actually give you, so technically it's 4, not 3, is if you are a caffeine drinker, as in lots of tea, lots of coffee, then what I would recommend you do in order to manage your energy levels more effectively is try to limit your caffeine intake to before midday. So where possible, no caffeine consumption after 12 p.m. And the reason for that is because of the half-life of caffeine. So on average, caffeine has a half-life of around 6 hours. Now, half-life just means that, let's say, for example, you have a cup of or a mug of coffee, and let's say, for example, it had 80 milligrams of caffeine in there. Within 6 hours, your body still has 40 milligrams of caffeine in the system. But obviously, most people will have their next coffee way before that 6 hour window is up. So what happens is you accumulate more on top and on top, And if you're drinking it throughout the day, you're then going to bed with often hundreds or multiple hundreds of milligrams of caffeine in the system, which is going to be much harder for your body to then get restful and restorative sleep, because even though you might have gone to sleep and perceive yourself to be asleep, the body is still quite jacked up and highly stimulated from all the caffeine that's running around in the system. And of course, that's not going to be ideal to getting high quality regenerative restorative sleep. So where possible, limit your caffeine to midday or before. So that's it. First thing, we've got real food. Eat real food where possible. Move more. Don't have to go crazy, but just start moving more. Use more energy. Your body will produce more energy. Then, of course, we want a consistent sleep schedule. And then finally, try to limit your caffeine consumption to midday or before. That's all I have for you today, guys. Of course, if you have any questions or you want me to get more specific on this, let me know by commenting below. Or, of course, if you have any any particular questions of your own or particular questions, let me know. And, of course, I will get back to you with an answer as soon as I can. Take it easy, people, and I shall chat to you soon.